think so too. We going?
We're going.
Alrighty. Hello and welcome to the Real Stuff Podcast.
Yeah, episode 13.
13, which happens to be your favorite number, right?
It is my favorite number. I was born on the 13th of February, and I liked the number 13 in sports teams growing up.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was my go-to.
Yeah.
Today's episode is also the last episode of Season 1 of the Real Stuff
Season
Podcast.
1 finale.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
we've had 13 weeks of a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been 13
It's
weeks.
weird how
That's
it
3
literally
months.
feels like we just recorded the first episode and
the test run.
the test run.
The test run.
Yeah.
It was wildly successful.
It was wildly successful with our focus groups.
Just wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we wanted to take a moment to shout out all of our guests that we've had on the podcast. So
Mhm.
we've had 13 episodes, 10 guests, 3 of them with just Carson and I, the third one being today. So we wanted to give a shout out. I wrote them all down so I wouldn't forget them.
Mhm.
So
Not that any of our guests are forgettable.
no, just because I make
For
mistakes.
our poor memory's
Yes,
sake.
for our poor memory's sake. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to shout them out real quick. So Jacob Fagundes was on for our second episode.
Mhm.
That was a great episode. If you haven't
Great
listened
one.
to that, well, I'm going to say this probably after everyone, but if you haven't listened to any of them, go listen to them because they were all unique conversations.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's been so fun for us is that
Mm-hmm.
we don't have a set topic, I guess.
I mean, in the first episode, we were like, "What are we gonna talk about? Whatever the
heck we
want
wanna talk about."
And that's what we've done.
Yes.
And I've had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just each episode is unique. Each episode is different, which I understand if you like certain episodes and don't listen to some, that's fine. But
Yeah.
I think they're all good, and I enjoyed all of them. So I think you should go listen to all of them. So the first one, was just Carson and I, but our
Yeah.
first guest was Jacob Fagundes.
Mm-hmm.
So Jacob came on and he talked about his journey with cancer and just all that God's been doing in his life. So if you haven't watched that, go watch that one.
Great episode.
Yes.
Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah, thank you,
Mhm.
Jacob. And then our next episode was with Cade Barrett. Yeah, Cade. He's a triathlete. He actually just did his half triathlon. So if you did end up following Cade on Instagram, shoot him a message.
He
And
did a half. I thought he was just.
didn't I say half triathlon? It's a half Ironman.
Is it? I
Yeah.
don't know.
It was a half
But
Ironman.
he did it, and he
but he
killed
did
it.
it.
Great
and
job.
Yeah. And at the same time running our acquisitions systems with our VAs from the Philippines. So
Mhm.
managing them. Our next episode was our sister,
Mm-hmm.
Olivia.
Talking about her wildly successful baking businesses.
Yes. Yeah.
Business.
And growing
just-
up with us.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was a
was
good
fun.
episode. That was
Mhm.
a fun episode. Our next was Elise. So if you didn't listen to Elise's, it was such a good
That
conversation.
was probably our most unique episode.
Yes,
I would say.
It stands by itself. It's
Yeah.
definitely in a genre on its own, but it was
Yeah.
so cool because we got to see not only learn a little bit more about Carson and myself, but
Mhm.
I hope that you went and looked at the Clifton Strengths. They're really cool things to learn about. Did you have anything else you wanted to add about that episode?
That episode was just it was interesting,
Yeah.
and then cuz I hadn't, that was when we did the strength coaching. I hadn't done that before, so I was kind of learning everything about
Yeah.
me as the
yeah.
as everyone else was. So that was a fun episode, and then we talked about Star Wars characters.
Yes,
so that was
we
fun
did.
too.
Yeah. Our next guest was Tyson Baker.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson is a ultramarathon runner. He's a coffee enthusiast and a writer and a beard grower, and I
A
don't know. I
legend.
feel like we're missing some things because he does a lot.
He does so much.
He does a
Tyson's
lot.
he's just
He's a
cool.
G. Yeah, he is.
He does everything.
So that was fun. Go listen to that episode. He had some great stuff in there that and we talked about how life and running have a lot of similarities. So
Yeah.
we talked a lot about that, and he had some really good nuggets of things. So go listen to that. Then next was Michael Massey.
Michael Massey.
Michael Massey. It was our longest podcast.
Yeah.
That one we talked about. What didn't we talk about in that episode?
We talked about movies.
Movies,
for a while.
real
That was
estate,
so fun.
cows.
That
we were all
episode,
over the
yeah.
place.
That was just we were just having a good conversation
Yeah.
with a friend, and that was a good one too.
Yeah, that was good. Next up, we had our dad. We had our dad on the podcast.
We did.
So dad, we talked about life insurance. We talked about youth group. We talked about
Life.
life.
Just life.
Just life. Yeah, us, ourselves,
Yeah.
him being our dad. Yeah, so that was cool. And then next we had our mom on, Mama Trish, shout out. What did we talk? We talked about like being a mom. What like we'll never discover that, but like we talked about us. We talked about her goals and aspirations of being a mother and a teacher for a short period of time, and then it all bailed. She bailed on the teaching thing.
Yeah,
that's okay though.
That was a great episode.
That was a great episode. Yeah. And then next is Luis. Just. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, got it mixed up. But Zach was next. Great conversation with Zach about ministry and just like his outlook on ministry and his spiritual life and how it's changed and evolved, and he gave a lot of encouraging words in there. So if you haven't listened to that one, go check it out. Then we had Lewis, which was last week.
Yeah.
Or
Luis.
As
of this moment, it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, when we're pre-recording it, but
when you listen to this, it will
be out. So Luis's episode was fun. It was just like we're just hanging out as friends. He's our one of our best friends, and we hang out with him all the time. So thank you to all of our guests for being on the Real Stuff podcast. Yes, we appreciate it. And probably you might see them again. I don't know. We got a lot more podcasting in us, so whatever the heck we want to talk about, I don't know. Yeah. So it was. Well, we had a little bit of. It wasn't exactly weekly, but it was pretty much weekly since July.
Been pretty consistent.
Yeah, the only thing we had like some technical difficulties for our second episode. We figured it out, obviously, but
now it's been weekly. We can say weekly.
It's been weekly, so. Yeah, that was fun. But a little bit of backstory, because I don't think we've actually told the story of like how, like why I wanted to do the podcast.
I think we might have vaguely touched on it.
Vaguely, yeah, but I'll just talk about it. So I went to this conference in Vegas in July. It was the week before we started the podcast that I went to this conference in Vegas, and so he was talking about, it was a real estate entrepreneur and content creator conference, and so they were talking about how like podcasting is a great way for like to get to know people, for your audience or your listeners to get to know you. And so I wanted to talk about real estate and just like have conversations with people and provide like cool content for people. And then so I came home and wanted to do it, and then Carson helped me out with some sound
with just a quick test run.
Yeah, just a quick test run,
because the podcast, it was just gonna be Reese on the podcast, but Reese was like, hey, help me out with this test run, let's just do it real quick. And then we made this a minute clip. Yeah. And we thought it was funny, so we sent it to our family group chat.
Yeah.
And they thought it was funny.
Hilarious, so then we posted it on Instagram.
And it
was wildly successful.
And so then the next day, we came in and recorded the first episode.
We did.
And now we're here.
Yeah, we are. It sort of happened really fast, too.
Well, yeah, because I was like that, even coming into that first episode, I didn't know. Like, was I a guest? Was I a co-host?
And then we established it on the first episode.
We established it. Literally, like, the first 5 minutes of the podcast was me like, hey, why am I here? That wasn't a bit. That was
real.
I didn't know.
Real. Like Carson, the first few minutes, he was just the very first guest of the Real Stuff podcast.
Yeah.
And now he's co-host.
Then I was a co-host.
Which I'm glad, because I feel like if I were to do this by myself, I would be pretty boring. I don't know if
you'd be boring.
I don't know if I'd be able to be as entertaining, though.
I don't know.
Like, Carson does a lot of the like preparation for the podcast, which I appreciate. Like, he does a lot of the planning. You notice if you watch on the video, we talk about it. He has the computer. Today he doesn't.
Not today.
How do you feel actually right now?
I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm usually so like, I could, even if I don't know. Sometimes I'm kind of awkward with my hands. So I'm like right now, I'm just like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Do you like
I'm not good at it. I can't do it.
Right now, if you're listening, we're doing the wave with our arms.
The wave thing. You know who's really good at it?
Who?
Have you seen Colby Kelly do it?
No, I haven't seen Colby Kelly.
She's really good at it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know how, but
interesting.
Sorry, off topic.
Weird. What were we even talking about? I don't even remember.
The podcast.
Oh yeah. Well, I know that. Oh yeah. No, Carson does a lot of the preparation. I just like to come in and like we talk about it a little bit, but I like to just like go on the flow.
Yeah.
And Carson does a lot more of the planning, which I think there's positives to both. I
think we end up striking a balance most episodes, because there are usually some things that I have written down that either we don't get to, or like sometimes our conversations go a certain place, and I'm like, this just doesn't.
Yeah.
Like it would kind of interrupt everything to stop and go back. So we end up striking a balance.
Yeah.
Halfway through.
It's good. I think so. I dig
think so too.
I dig it.
We introduced some segments as it went on.
Carson came up with the greatest game of all time.
The greatest game of all time.
RS or BS.
RS or BS. Yeah. That game, I don't know.
We've learned some interesting things, too. It's been educational, I'd say.
It has been. It is now an educational podcast.
It is,
Before, it was just going to be us chatting.
Yeah.
Now it's educational.
Yeah, because of RS or BS.
And it's also a news podcast.
It is, yeah. We introduced a couple weeks ago our new segment of Breaking News, where I find a couple like news stories that I think are weird. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we've learned some good things through that as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I guess today we're just doing a little like recap of our whole podcast.
Yeah. And a thank you to everyone.
And a thank you. Yeah, thank you to everyone who listens. This is not the end of the podcast. No, it's just not. So you know.
I wasn't trying to get us to go to the thank yous. I was just saying we're going to do that later.
We're going to do that later, yeah. But I guess right now I'll just say thank you again. But yeah, no, this is not the end of the Real Stuff podcast. We're barely getting started. 13 episodes in.
We have a lot of exciting plans, I think.
We do, yeah. We've been talking about some new equipment that we're going to be getting to kind of upgrade our show. Like, is this a show? Can I call it a show? I think I can.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll call it a show.
Sure.
Yeah, so we're talking about getting some new equipment. We're talking about some new stuff that we're going to be doing in the next couple weeks. We don't exactly have a plan for when Season 2 starts. It's not going to be a huge break, but I'll keep everyone posted on Instagram, and we'll post and everything. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe so that way you can see whenever it gets posted and you don't miss an episode.
If you're not following us on Instagram, do that.
Yeah, do that.
Way you know.
You can stay updated because we're moving.
Yeah. We don't exactly have a plan on when we're coming back. So.
We're working on it though. It won't be too long. Probably a month will be the longest it'll be.
Yeah.
Probably. But we're just gonna take a couple weeks to get everything planned out and get a little bit more organized and stuff. So Carson, what have you learned through the Real Stuff podcast?
What have I learned?
Like not like a specific thing. I guess you could do a specific thing, but like what's one thing that you've like taken away from the past 13 weeks?
13 weeks.
I know. It's funny saying it, huh?
What a ride.
I know.
I guess, like, I know this is dumb, but, like the thing I appreciate most about this podcast is that it's just us.
Yeah.
Like, it's just me and you coming in and just being us. So, I guess just be yourself. I don't know if that. I know that's really.
That was good. I'm fist bumping you for that. I appreciated it.
Well, like I know it sounds really cheesy,
a little
really
emo,
corny,
but
just
fine.
like, you say emo?
Yeah,
that's not emo.
A little bit.
No, it's not. But I don't know. Just like, it's just this whole thing is just us kind of coming in and having fun and having good conversations with our friends and people we think are interesting or fun or cool, whatever, just whatever.
Yeah.
So, and we've really enjoyed doing it. I hope you guys have enjoyed doing it. Yeah. So, yeah, just be yourself, I guess.
Yeah. That's great.
But what about you? What's been what have you taken away?
I just have really like my biggest thing about it has been just like I don't know. We get to spend time with cuz I feel like in our world we're so rush all the time. Like we never take time to like sit down. So like even though we are like producing content and like putting it out for people to like listen to, it's like cool sitting down with people and even just like on a 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 whatever basis. It's like cool to have those conversations and like be really intentional with asking questions. So yeah, that's been my biggest thing, I think.
Yeah, it's given us a good reason to sit down and spend an hour with someone who maybe you don't like often spend time.
Well,
like,
even with
like,
Mom, Dad, and Liv, like we got to hang out with them for an hour or so.
Yeah.
And like be really intentional with the conversation. And even though we live together, we're all so busy that like we don't always get to like even if we might be like sitting down together, we all just have so much stuff going on that we don't always sit down for dinner all the time like we used to do. But
when we are hanging out, like it's not often I think that you just sit down and really start to like question.
Yeah, like ask why.
Like just ask questions, you know?
True. So that's been fun.
Yeah.
Getting to do that with our family, and then also different people that we think are cool. So not to say if you're not on the podcast yet, we don't think you're cool, but
I didn't think that was.
We'll get there. Maybe you will be on the podcast. I don't know.
Maybe will. Oh, you will.
Yeah, I'm speaking. I'm speaking directly to that person that might be thinking that right now. That like it's just in due time, God's plan.
God's plan.
Amen.
Amen.
Yeah. What else do you want to say?
I don't know.
I don't know what else either.
I don't know.
This is a shorter episode. We had already planned for it to be short, but I guess we can probably just. What time?
It's been like 10 minutes. It's
been 15 minutes. That's way too short.
I wasn't planning on being done.
I don't know.
More questions to ask.
Okay, what you got then? I said what you got, and you didn't say nothing.
Well, I didn't know you asked what time it was, but I was just gonna ask you have you had any like moments from the podcast that have really stuck out? Like anything specific?
Like in our episodes?
Yeah.
In our episodes? Oh, that's hard. I feel like I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of people that like I respect and do things at a higher level than I do. I don't know, dude. I have to think on that one because
it's kind of hard to pick one.
It's hard to pick one.
As I'm going through like our episodes, and as we did like the recap earlier, we've had just so much of just.
It's been all over the board too. Yeah.
And like it's hard not to think of Jacob's whole episode.
Yeah.
That was just encouraging and inspiring and a great way to. Like I'm glad that he was our first guest.
I am too.
That was pretty awesome.
Should we tell the story about how that happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, like the whole episode fiasco of recording it.
Oh my gosh.
So
I think we can.
Yeah, I think we can. So Jacob has an incredible story, right?
He does.
And I can only imagine how emotionally exhausting it is to actually tell it.
Yeah. Well, he had said that was the first time that he sat down and
mapped it out with everyone. Yeah. So I use a program for our podcast. I was new to this program, obviously, because it was only my second time using it. The first time, everything went well. It was flawless. For whatever reason, I think it was because of the storage. I didn't know. Yeah, basically, something happened. We started that episode probably 5 times.
And the first time we recorded it,
we got 30 minutes in.
40 minutes into the podcast.
And it just stopped recording.
And we were freaking out.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Me and Reese were just sitting here Jacob just spent. We had the game, but I think that was only 15 minutes the first time.
Yeah.
When
we had on the game, we had to Jacob and I. Carson came up with a few new ones, but Jacob and I had to give some fake reactions because we had already heard it.
I was just thinking I'm just so nervous that Jacob he was excited to come do this, and I was he's gonna be oh, I wish I didn't come do this because we had to do it 4 times. But yeah, that I think the game RS or BS, that was the first time we did it.
It was
first time we did the game, and I think we went from 5 facts to 12.
Yeah,
because I had to keep adding in more new ones. Yeah. Because I wanted there to be genuine reactions. I think I might have taken out a few from that first take. I would replace them because I guess you guys technically missed out on a few facts. I don't think any of them were super memorable. We kept in the good ones, but just I wanted to add in some so that reactions were genuine. So we added in 7 new facts.
Yeah, we did.
And a lot of those I was saving for the next episode, so I had to figure out all new ones.
Yeah, but and then Jacob, because the first time we got into his story pretty deep.
We got a long
and so
way
I felt
in.
So bad. Yeah. Jacob was super patient with us, so thank you, Jacob, for being a trooper and
he was excited. And even after we got it, we were
there was another technical difficulty with the program with the video, and so it cut off the last 15 minutes or something, and so but we ended up saving it, and you guys did get the full episode, and I think it's still well, and to me it was why? Of course this happens on this is this is a powerful
Like the one with me and Reese just talking and chatting worked perfectly.
Yeah.
And the one with Jacob that like I actually
had like a lot of depth to it. Yeah.
The one I think could actually help people, and that's the one that.
Yeah. But we've since figured it out, so that's cool.
We've dialed it in.
We have, so that was nice.
Mm-hmm. And Jacob, he was great. He was like, even if you guys don't get the last 15 minutes, if we have to come and record the whole thing, he was like, if we have to come record the whole thing again, I'll do it. Like,
he was super patient with us, so that was nice.
For
which was why we had to. That's why we like. It was like a little bit of lag between the first and the second episode because I was working with the support team from this program that I use, and they were helping me, and we ended up getting it figured out. So the audio made it out.
And that was 11 weeks ago, I guess, and it feels like yesterday.
It does, yeah.
I still feel the stress.
It does, yeah. It's all coming back right now. It's all coming back.
Figure it out, but it's been pretty much smooth sailing since then.
Since then, yeah, we haven't had
a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have
had a lot of great guests.
Yeah, laughed a lot.
Yeah,
I love
like
getting.
I
haven't cried yet. I don't think. Yeah, no, I haven't cried.
A lot of laughs. Though.
I love it when people come and say that they listen to the podcast. It makes me so happy.
Yeah,
I appreciate it when you tell us that because then it's like, yes, like people are listening to. Like I'll see someone out at Bravo Farms or something. I saw someone the other day, a couple weeks ago. And he was like, "Yeah, I need to catch up. I'm a couple episodes behind, but I've been listening." So. And
I had a friend call me and tell me he lives in Idaho, and he was calling me and telling me that he's our #1 Idaho listener.
Yes.
And then we looked into it, where people are listening from.
Yeah, we have international.
We found out that this is an international
podcast. We have like 10 people listening in like Italy and Sweden. And yeah. Crazy.
I don't know why they're listening to us. We have Belgium, Canada.
Yeah, that's true.
Can't remember everywhere else.
Italy, Sweden.
We have people in Boston.
Yeah.
That's not international, but still, that's
in
cool.
The country,
country. Like,
that's cool.
It was just crazy.
Yeah, it's been wild.
It's
so we've got some
a
lot of good response. So thank you. I hope you keep enjoying it and keep listening to it. Hopefully Carson and I get better at what we do. And like I said, we're going to get some equipment to make sure that our quality of content is going up and always improving. So
and shout out Matthew, our #1 Idaho listener.
Yeah.
From Potato Land.
From Potato Land, yeah. And I don't know if you're we're going to do merch next season too.
I think that's
the plan. Yeah, we're gonna do merch next season. So for season 2, maybe we'll just do. Well, I'm not gonna say anything on the podcast. Carson and I'll figure it out. And
maybe on the break, do we go into designing the merch and try to figure that out?
Do we? I mean,
it's possible.
It's possible.
I'm not gonna rule anything.
We're not gonna say yes or no, but there's a likely chance that it does happen.
Especially now that I've said it, I really want to.
Yeah.
Right after this.
Yeah, limited edition, real stuff.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll I don't know. We'll figure it out. It'll be cool.
We'll get it figured out, and you guys will know.
Yeah, you guys will know. When the time, the Force will let you know.
Well,
we'll be like Jedi because we're Jedi Masters now.
We are. But
yeah.
So, how are you?
Fantastic, dude. I'm looking forward. Carson and I, after we record this, we're going to Component Coffee Lab to do work. Carson's not excited, but I am.
No, I'm not that excited.
I'm very excited. I'm teaching Carson the ways of the Force.
Can we get lunch first?
Yeah, we can.
Nice.
We can. Yeah.
But
all right. Well, should we wrap this up?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. This was always meant to be a bit of a shorter episode.
Yeah.
Just because we wanted to just recap.
Yeah.
13. It's been 13 episodes now of the Real Stuff podcast. I hope you guys have had as much fun listening as we have making this for you. And well, I want to say it was for you. I think it was more for us.
But it's also for them.
It's for you guys, but
it's
I just have so much fun doing it.
It's also for us too. It's for everyone.
Yeah. I think that the conversations have been more for we do take into account what you guys will enjoy, but
whatever the heck we want to talk about.
Whatever the heck we want.
Yeah. So,
but,
I hope you've enjoyed season 1. Season 2 is going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So, subscribe so you can stay updated. Go follow us on Instagram at Resapien.
At Carson.Sapien.
Yes. So much better of a username than whatever you had before.
__.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well, fam, we'll see you guys next time.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever that is.
Hopefully real soon.
Yeah, real soon.
And, thank you guys for listening to season 1. Of
Peace.
the Real Stuff podcast. Bye-bye.